Dinner's ready.
That is what it's like. Susan, are you there? Genevieve, I want to do a special class for Susan today since we have a low number of people that are here. I want to give her some of the background for doing Hunyan, providing she shows up.
I'm sure she will show up, and I totally support that. And I will also learn. And I brought a prop for
Oh,
reverse yogic breathing if you want me to use
excellent.
it.
Yes, excellent. I
Hey,
love that.
Susan.
Hey,
Hey there.
Susan. Susan, I was just telling Genevieve because we have a very small class today, I want to do a special class for you.
Oh,
So I'm going to give you some of the background. I mean, this is just a primer, but it will give you the essential background you need to do Qigong correctly. Qigong is not an exercise program. It's a form of meditation, specifically
oh, hold on a quick
contemplation.
second.
Yes,
I just something's in the kitchen. Hang on.
go ahead. So, Susan, do you have a notepad?
Yeah, I can get one.
Good. Why don't you get one? Because
Okay.
you're gonna need to take notes.
Okay, perfect. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. So I'm sure both of you know the phrase, the map is not the territory. I'm going to give you a map today. That allows us to talk about the territory, but it is not the territory. The territory is you, is your body. And you are the only person who truly can know that. So, what I'm going to do is just give you a map, but um, when we're doing something, right? And for instance, maybe we're doing a movement like this. And I say, bring the energy up through your inner leg meridians to your Hui Yin, and then up to the Mingmen, and then to the Tanzhuang. You'll know what the hell I'm talking about, right? But that's just a map. The territory is your feeling. So let's start at the bottom of the feet as Tai Chi and Qigong do and work up to the top of the head. So at the bottom of the foot, in the sole of the foot, not exactly in the, this is the sole of my foot, not exactly in the middle, but a little bit more toward the base of the big toe, there is an acupuncture point called the Yun Xuan. Right? And just sound it out for English spelling. Yun Xuan. That means the bubbling well. That's where the energy of the earth bubbles up into your body. All right? The Yun Xuan. That's an acupuncture point. And sometimes I'll say during class, go to the bottom of your feet. Sometimes I'll say go to your Yun Xuan. They essentially mean the same thing. right? So you probably know in traditional Chinese medicine, there are thousands of acupuncture points in the body. We only deal with a dozen or so because we deal with what's important for movement and meditation. So I'm just going to give you just a couple of those. So Yin Xuan in the bottom of the feet. And then at the perineum, between the genitals and the anus, there is a very important acupuncture point called the Hui Yin. And that is spelled Huiyin, Hui Yin, which means literally the meeting of yin. So what does the meeting of yin means? It means at that point in your body, the most important yin meridians meet. Okay, so just to sketch in really quickly, and then we'll come back and spend a little more time on this. What are the yin meridians they're talking about? On your legs and your arms, the yin meridians are on the inside of the legs and the inside of the arm. The yang meridians are on the outside of the leg and the outside of the arm. When you want to bring energy into the body, you use the yin meridians. When you want to push energy out from the center of the body, you use the yang meridians. And of course, any movement you make is always a balance between those two. Okay, so when you're using the yin meridians, well, we'll come back to this later. Let's finish the acupuncture points, right? So the Yin Xuan in the bottom of the feet, the Hui Yin at the base of the spine. This is the same thing as the root chakra. It's the root on which your entire spine rests. So it's really important for lots and lots of reasons. Physical, energetic, and spiritual. All right, up from there, right underneath your navel, 2 fingers underneath your navel, is your Dan Qian. We're taking a tour of Susan's house. All right, 2 fingers underneath your navel is your Dan Qian. The Dan Qian is not itself an acupuncture point. It's an organ, like your heart or your kidneys, right? The front of it is surrounded by acupuncture points, all of which are important, but the one you'll read about most often is called the Qihai, Qihai. Qi is Qi. It means your life energy. Hai means ocean. This is the ocean of Qi. It's the big storage container for your Qi. On the opposite side of the body, on the back, so you could say that's the front of the Dan Qian. It's actually right above the Dan Qian. On the back, just opposite that, is another really important acupuncture point called the Ming Men, Mingmen, Ming Men, which means the gate of life. For the ancient Chinese, the kidneys were really important because they regulate water in the body. So your life energy has a lot to do with your kidneys. Ming Men. And obviously on the back of the Dan Qian, those 3 points, Qi Hai, Dan Qian, Ming Men, all work together one way or another. Okay, you could go up the spine, and for every vertebrae, there's a whole series of acupuncture points. But we're only going to talk about one, and it's not actually on the spine, it's in the front of the body. And that's the Tanzhong, right? Tanzhong, Tanzhong. And it means in English center chest. All right. Now there are energetic connections between all the acupuncture points, but the maybe the most important connection for the Tanzhong is the Ming Mun in the back behind your Dantian. So when you close the body, for instance, if you were playing softball and you were a batter, and so the pitcher's up there, pitcher pitches the ball, you wind up. That's closing the body. And then when you swing, that's opening the body. And as you can see, it's literally happening that way, right? When you close the body, you drop gently from the Tanzhong into the Ming Mun in the lower back. When you open the body, you come up from the Ming Mun and back into the Tanzhong. Another way to say it is watch. Close. Open. Close. Open. In other words, it's a joint, and you're flexing that hidden joint in the body. In the West, that joint's called the thoracic hinge joint. But I like to think of it more like a pneumatic pump joint, right? Because that's the way it actually acts. So, Qi Hai, Dan Qian, Ming Mun, and then up above that, the Tanzhong. And then you could go up into the face, and there's hundreds of acupuncture points. But the one that we're going to pay attention to is on the top of the head. It's on the top of the head and just a little bit back, right? And that's called the Ba Hui, Bahai, Ba Hui. All right. When you bring your spirit up to the top of the head, that's the point you're bringing it to, and actually, then you can go up above that too. So your body is, and then there's two more we should talk about, and they have to do with the palms of the hands. So just like the Yun Xuan are in the palms of the feet, right? You have points in the palm called the, I'm blanking. Well, they're called the center palms, and for some reason I'm blanking. Genevieve, what are they called?
I'm blanking too, but they're real.
But they're real. Now, they're not right in the center of the palm. They're actually up just a little bit. So they're kind of at the base of the first two fingers here, right? Then you could still call it the center of the palm, right? Because that functions as the center of the palm. Lao Gong. They're called the Lao
Lao
Gong.
Gong. I thought of it the exact same second as you did. Lao Gong.
There was some energy floating through the universe that reminded us. Lao Gong, so Laogong. Now, there are so many other points that are important in the body, but those are the basic ones that you need. You just need to memorize them. And I don't know how many there are there, but I think less than 12. So you just got to memorize them and where they are, and they will come up in our conversation over and over again. So, what are those points? Well, there are a lot of different things, but one way you can think of them is they're a way of describing the exterior of the body. The body is a big circle. It's a globe, 360 degrees in every direction, up, down, sideways, and around. Right? William Blake said the soul is a sphere, and that's exactly right. It's a sphere. Those points mark, for the most part, mark the exterior of the sphere, which is another way of saying, depending on how you want to look at these, they're important doorways into the being, from the outside world to the inside world, or from the inside world to the outside world. So if I want to do something in Tai Chi, Qigong mostly focuses on the inner world, on your inside, not completely, because it also gathers chi from outside and it moves energy around the world. But for the most point, it's about moving energy within the body. Tai Chi is based on that, but it takes that basic knowledge and then moves it into the art of interacting with the outer world. That's what Tai Chi is about. Another way to explain the relationship between Qigong and Tai Chi is Qigong is the root of Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the flower of Qigong. That's a perfect poetic expression of what these two arts are. They're both standalone arts. You don't ever have to do Tai Chi. You can just do Qigong and it's a standalone art. But if you go on to include Tai Chi in your larger energy education, you'll see how true that truly is. Another way to think about it is if you've ever learned a musical instrument, and I'm just going to pick a keyboard instrument, so let's say the piano. When you learn the piano, you're going to have a picture in your head of sitting down to the keyboard and playing beautiful music. Everybody does that. Whether it's as simple as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or whether it's Bach Prelude or something. Hold on a second, I gotta close the door.
Come here. No. Roto.
We had a noisy neighbor out there doing his lawn. Okay.
My dog was barking at the same time. It's perfect.
So there you go. When you, of course, when you start a musical instrument, no matter what the instrument is, you want to become good at it. You want to become virtuosic at it. You know, whether that's realistic or not. So you look at Genevieve's three-dimensional thing there. You start really small, but you hope to get bigger. The art of getting bigger those are the keyboard exercises that you're going to have to go through. If you're learning to play the guitar, if you're learning to play the trumpet, if you're learning to play the keyboard, you're going to have to go through all these finger exercises. Year after year after year, you're going to have to do those finger exercises. And you go, well, why? I just want to sit down and play beautifully. You can't play beautifully until you've developed the inner skills. And the inner skills are in the hands. They're not in here. They're in here, the whole body. So another way to think of keyboard finger exercises is you're waking up the brain of each finger. And each finger moves independently. And you can't think about that. It's like tying your shoelaces together and falling over. It just has to be in the body. And that's exactly the same thing with Qigong. To truly get the greatest benefits of Qigong, you just have to practice it long enough that you don't think about any of this stuff anymore, including the names of these acupuncture points. But it's a place to start, right? Is you just move, you pay attention, and then you do what my master used to say. And I'm going to imitate him because I can remember the day he did this. I can picture it in my mind. He looked around at the class and he said, "Stop. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention." That's all he said. What he meant was stop looking at the birds, stop paying attention to the dog, stop paying attention to the tourists, stop paying attention to what you think you need to do after class is over, and pay attention to what you're doing right now. Right? And he meant it. Now, the truth is 9 out of 10 students never really paid attention. It's only a couple of students out of 100 who will pay enough attention to truly get this. And that's okay. Everybody comes in, they take what they want from the menu, they feed themselves, they go out. It's all good. However, if you really want this, you got to pay attention. Grandmaster Feng, his teacher, used to say, or did say once, I heard him once, he said you need 2 things if you want to get this. You need patience and you need persistence. I know, he said, people who have been working on this for 99 lifetimes. It takes that long to get this because 99.9% of what you do in life has nothing to do with what you're studying. It has to do with going getting groceries and going out and mowing the lawn, which I have to do later today, and buying a new computer, which I have to do later today, and on and on and on and on. And so the whole day is going to go by, and the only time I will have practiced is this hour. So it takes 99 lifetimes, and I don't think he was kidding. Right? You're gonna have to reincarnate several times and pay attention to this to truly get it. Oh, I should add, Master Zhang said something, did say something after he said, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. He said, this is gold. That's a Chinese phrase. I think it's self-translating. Okay, so the acupuncture points, you could say, are outside on the rim of the world. They're the place where we interact with the world. The innermost point of this sphere is this, right underneath the Dantian.
Sorry, I had to get my dog inside.
No problem. I like your house.
Oh, thanks. I'm getting ready for a really big party on Sunday, so it's a little
A little
different.
torn up. Well, it's my kind of house. I really like that.
Mm.
So the innermost point is the Dantian. That's the center of the world. The acupuncture points, you might say, are out on the edge of the world. There has to be something that connects those. And there is. They're called the energy channels. In Chinese, the word they use is mai, M-A-I. All right, so, for instance, the other day we talked about the daimai, the belt meridian. All right, this is my Tron uniform. All right. This is the daimai. If I want to move left or right, this is the energy channel that I use to move in this direction. It's the only horizontal energy channel in the body. The Dai, which means belt, meridian, Mai, Dai Mai. You'll, if you look at an article or you look at an encyclopedia version of the traditional Chinese medical system or the Tai Chi medical system, energy system, you'll see Dai Mai, and you'll see it drawn as a little line. And this looks like a little line too. Don't let that fool you. The word Mai, if you look in a Chinese dictionary, is now translated as channel or meridian. But that's not what it originally meant. What it originally meant was the flood up an ocean estuary. So the tide coming in from the ocean up onto the land. Susan, are you in the Bay Area down there in San Francisco area somewhere?
Yeah, I'm in Oakland.
Okay, so you know that the San Francisco Bay estuary goes all the way up into the middle of the state.
Yeah.
That flood of energy goes all the way up and all the way back 2 times a day. It's
Oh,
the same thing for the energy channels. They're not little narrow bands, they're big floods. So, yeah, you could say the blue line that I've got on my costume here is the major focus of that. But the truth is it's a big flood going in either direction. And you go, well, how can you use that? Suppose I was going to punch, for instance, because this is the simplest way of explaining this. I'm going to punch backward and forward with this fist, but don't watch the fist. Watch this. Right? Punch backward. All right? It's not my arm doing it. The little poem, All Wisdom in China, is in poetry. All traditional wisdom is written in poetry. And the poem for what I just did, I'll translate it into English, is the power is developed in the legs. It's directed by the waist. It's expressed in the hands. Right? The power, watch my feet. The power comes out of the foot. It's directed by the waist. And by directed, they mean the way a general directs the army. And it's expressed in the hands. Now, it doesn't have to be the hands. It could be the shoulder or the elbow. It could be anywhere in the body. But it's directed to one part of the body that's going to interact with the outer world. So your power is developed in the legs, or even you could say in the foot. It's directed by the waist. It's expressed, boom, in the hands. What most people do is just the opposite. They try to develop the power in the hand and just forget about the rest of the body. And it doesn't work because you don't get any power. The power comes out of the ground, literally out of the ground. Do you know what the ground reaction force is?
no.
Genevieve knows. When you walk across the floor, right, you think, well, my leg muscles are doing that. That's what's pushing me forward. Well, yeah, in a way. But that's not really true. What's really true is the ground is pushing back. When you push into the ground, for every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. That's what pushes you forward, is the ground pushing back into you.
Wow.
That's the ground reaction force. And that's not woo-woo stuff, look it up. Look it up on Google and you'll find it. Guys, I've got a computer notice here I have to kill, so hold on just a second. So when I say the energy comes out of the ground, I mean that literally. First, you sink into the ground. Sinking into the ground is yin. Watch. Yin. Your chi sinks. It sinks to the dantian, which is the lowest point of the body. It's it's contemporaneous with the bottom of your foot. Right? You sink to the dantian, to the bottom of the foot, down into the foot. You say you relax. Right? That's yin. And then it bounces. Boom. That's where the punch comes from. The bottom of your foot, not from your arm. And I mean that literally. If you punch from the shoulder, you will screw up your shoulder. If you all you do is punch a few times, then you're going to hurt yourself. You punch from the bottom of the foot. It's the shoulder's hardly any part of it. It's just one step. In fact, this is true for any move. There's a pathway that your chi follows, called the chi path. Your mind and your dan chen, through enough practice, become one thing.
Hmm.
Your dan chen is your abdominal brain.
Wow.
All right, and that's not again, that's not woo woo Taoist um, doctrine. Look up abdominal brain. You have about 100 million neurons right at the point that the Chinese called the dantian. That's more neurons than are in your spinal cord. This is your second brain. It's also your center of gravity, which
Wow.
you can prove to yourself. Just go lay in a pool of water and fool around with it a little bit, and you'll find out. Oh yeah, that's my center of gravity, left, right, etc., etc. So it's a very important point for a lot of different reasons. Your mind and your dan chen are where movement initiates. All right. So let's say I'm gonna punch. Right. I don't put my mind in my fist. I put my mind on the bottom of my foot. So the chi path is the word to describe this connection. The mind, the heart, the dan chen. All right. Um, all work together as one thing. So it's called Xin Yi, Xinyi. Xin means heart. Yi means mind. Right? And the dantian is what they both rest on. Right? So Xin Yi is your heart mind, your whole inner being. And then you go right down to the bottom of the foot, and then you come up to the Mingman in the back of the dantian, and then out the arm, shoulder, elbow, wrist to the tip of the fist. Think about this. It's a giant loop. It's a big circular loop, and it's always the same thing. Sometimes it might come out, boom, into your elbow. but it's still a big loop. So it's a lot like this. Right? It's like a spring. Your whole body is a spring. Grandmaster Feng used to say, in your body there are 5 springs. 2 arms, 2 legs, and your center. If you have all 5 springs, there is not an opponent under heaven who will ever beat you. Right? So that's what you develop in Tai Chi is this ability. It's a big circular spring. Boom. Let me show you something. This is the Chen family Tai Chi manual, which finally got translated into English a few years ago. And I got one of the first copies. This is a picture. Let me see if I can get
Wow. All
this.
the springs.
This is a picture of how energy moves through the body. It moves in spirals.
Mm.
Let me show you the back of the body. There's the back of the body. Now, they don't mean that as a poetic metaphor. They mean that literally. That's how it works. And the longer you study this and work on this, the more you realize, yeah, they were right. That's exactly how it works. One of the easiest places to see it is in your forearm because you have 2 bones in your forearm. And your forearm naturally spirals. Watch a boxer. When a boxer winds up, you're going to see they do this. When they deliver the punch, they do that. That's the spiral. Boom, right? Only in this study of Qigong and Tai Chi, it spirals all the way down. Everything you do is in spirals. So it's a little difficult to see these and to feel them at first. So there are some that are easy, like the forearms. That's where most people usually start. But eventually you'll realize, right? Watch my whole body. Spiral, 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 spiral. Everything is spiraling. Now I want to finish. We only got 5 minutes left. I want to finish by also talking about another one of the energy channels besides the Dantian, and that is the energy channels that in yoga are called the microcosmic orbit, and they're also called that in what we do here. So again, these pieces of tape are just hints at what's really going on. There's another energy channel that goes up and down the front of the body. And it goes over the top of the head, and it goes down the back, and comes up the crotch, and it makes a continuous orbit. That's the microcosmic orbit. Okay, it's exactly what they talk about in yoga. It's exactly the same thing. All right, now you might notice something about this. We've just defined 2 of the dimensions of 3-dimensional space. All right? One of them is what you use for level circles. Right? Well, suppose you don't want to do level circles. Suppose you want to do a circle like this. Right? Or like this. Well, you can't use the dynamite because it doesn't go in the right direction. Now you use the microcosmic orbit. And specifically, you're going to use part of the microcosmic orbit is the the hinge from the Dantian to the Tianzhong. I'm going to open that. Now I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to open it. Now I'm going to close it. The Tai Chi form, the very first move. Watch. It's exactly what I just talked about. That front to back circle is mediated by the microcosmic orbit. Those circles are called Li circles, Li, Li. All right? When you're doing ping circles, like this, that's what they're called, ping circles. Ping means level in Chinese. All right? So they're just level circles. Li circles, ping circles, and then there are side-to-side circles. Either direction. Those are called shu circles, X-U, shu. Now, they're not mediated by a single energy channel. They're mediated by the yin and yang meridians in the arms and legs. So they're too complicated to put pieces of tape on. But you can see what they are. Let me show you one thing. And then I'll see if you have any questions. When we do the stick, one of the first things we do is Li circles, and then shu circles, and then ping circles. That's to wake those meridians up. Li circle, Li circle, Li circle. The point is not the stick in the arms. The point is the microcosmic orbit. You orbit the energy, right? If you're doing from the back to the front, I'm coming up my back, over the top of the head, down the front, under the crotch, up the back, over the top of the head, down the front, under the crotch. That's a forward Li circle. Boom, 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 boom. Or I could reverse it. Now I'm going to come up the front, over the top of the head, down the back, under the crotch, up the front. The meridian on the front of the body is called the Ren meridian, R-E-N. The meridian in the back of the body is called the Du meridian, D-U. The two of them join at the Ba Hui on the top of the head. And specifically, now listen to this because this is important, this is a little esoteric. They meet on the upper palate of the mouth. Right? Think about this, what this means. The Du meridian comes all the way up the top of the head, past the Ba Hui, and down to the upper palate of the mouth. That means the whole upper part of your head is part of your back. And then the tip of the tongue, down the tongue, and then down the front of the body is the Ren meridian, and they meet at the Hui Yin. This is a Yin meridian. These are Yin meridians. Where they meet is the meeting of Yin, the Hui Yin. Now, think about this. The energy in your brain comes from your spine and your back. The energy in your jaw and your tongue and your larynx has to do with the front of the body. The front of the body is yin, it's softer, protecting your soft organs. The back is stronger. All right? So when you want to bring energy in, you bring it into the body and close. When you want energy to go out, you open the meridian in the back, the Du meridian. Yes, do it, Genevieve. All right, open, close, open, close, open, close. I'm going to see if I can find a little poem for you guys. Hold on.
Malcolm and Susan, I have to run for another meeting that's starting right on the 30 that I'm have to be in. So,
Well, then go ahead and run, hon.
okay. Ciao, my
Thanks
dear.
for bringing your visual there.
Anytime. Bye.
Bye.
So I don't even know if I can find this, hon, but let me try. No, I can't even find it. Um, I'll find it and bring it to class tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a poem by Rumi that exactly describes what I'm talking about with this.
Okay.
Here's Rumi, 13th century Persia, talking about exactly the same thing that the Taoists were talking about in 4th century BC, other side of the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly the same thing, right?
Makes sense, right?
Rumi says, your life is about opening and closing and opening and closing, all right? If you were always stuck open or always stuck closed, you would be paralyzed. Your life is about the movement and the balance, as perfectly balanced as birds' wings. All right, that's the name of the poem, Bird Wings.
Okay.
I should just memorize it. Okay, there's a primer on this. I know that's a lot.
Yeah.
But it gives you the basics of it, and when you hear the stuff or do this, just understand when you do this, it's not about the outer exercise.
Yeah.
The outer exercise is great, of course, it's good for your body.
Hmm.
But what you're really trying to do is wake up and train the inner body that most people in the West just don't even think about, don't even notice. Right?
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
hon. All
what's that?
right. Good. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow.
It's Saturday, right? I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it. I have to check my calendar.
Don't worry about it. But next time you come, Sunday morning classes are a little different. We basically do essentially the same thing Monday through Saturday. Sometimes on Saturday we do special classes, and that's why there's a 8 o'clock in the morning. But I'll let you know ahead of time when those classes come. Sunday morning class is different. It's much more of what people usually think Qigong is. So it's much gentler and much more medicinal.
Oh,
It's the Huanyan Qigong of Hu Yao Qian, who was Grandmaster Feng's major teacher. Okay, hun, we'll see you next time.
thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
You bet.